Today in this webinar, I'll be talking about enterprise scale data labeling tool offered free of cost by Snow Labs. With this tool, it's not only about data labeling, it's also possible to do pre-annotation and automated models training with no lines of code. These are the list of agenda I'll try to cover in this webinar. First, I'll go through the introduction of the tool, then we'll see uh, how much configurable the labeling page is, how to import and distribute tasks among your team. Then we'll see what pre-annotation is and how it can help overall annotating speed and experience. Then we'll revisit the annotation experience, about how annotators can do their stuff, their work in various different ways, different layout, shortcuts, and other things. Then I'll briefly talk about the analytics dashboard. Then the main theme of this webinar is to demo and talk as much as possible about active learning, which is like no code environment thing within the annotation lab. And then I'll cover some of the security and privacy things offered by Annotation Lab. And at the end, we'll go through some demos and I'll try to answer some of your questions. And on every single page of the presentation of this webinar, I'll be attaching some links to related documentation for any detailed information. Okay, let's start. Annotation Lab is a free tool, free software for data labeling for enterprise and big companies. It's free of cost. The annotation, the pre-annotation by different JSL models, the training, the active learning, project analytics dashboard, sharing mock project to any number of users, absolutely everything is free. So the number of users is not it's not limited. There is no cost with no matter how many users are there, no matter how many projects are there. Annotation Lab supports labeling not just text project, but also image projects, audio projects, PDF files, videos, etc. While developing Annotation Lab, we always keep in mind about high completeness environment. It's been used for over 2 years in production by different companies across the globe. There is absolutely no need to communicate with the internet. It can be installed within completely air-gapped environment, so that no data leaves your machine. That should be simple. Also, to make sure our release are following all the security guidelines, we try to always run static code analysis, pen testing, scanning all the images of the that particular release. We have over 200 front-end tests and 70 plus API tests, and also our QA team make sure that every release is well tested. All the APIs are well documented, and the API doc can be accessed by this menu, which is present on the left bottom corner of every Annotation Lab installation. Feel free to go and experiment about what we offer. There are many APIs, and whatever you do through UI, you should be able to do through the APIs. So let's talk about few terms that I felt that I should discuss while discussing Annotation Lab, because it might be a bit confusing at first to get used to these terms, because these terms may mean different in other contexts. So the first is about task. Task is a work unit that can be assigned to someone. So a task does not always mean a document you import. So if you want to merge multiple documents and create one task, that's smallest unit. present in Annotation Lab. That's what we call a task, and that task can be assigned to someone for annotation or for review. Yeah. So in this screenshot, I have put few example of what a task can be. A task can be a big document, a small document, a big single document, a paginated big document, or even combination of many documents. Next is completion. Completion is simply a work done within a task. So there can be multiple completions from one user or from multiple users. So the completion section is right here, as shown in the screenshot. And there's something called prediction, which is the pre-annotation, the work that is coming out of a model server. So prediction comes in here. So to see work done by prediction, if you click on this section, you'll see the prediction. If you click on this, you'll see the first work done by a user, this, in this case, Naveen. To see another work done by same user, you have to click here. So that's completion section, and this is prediction section. Now let's go to the overview of the workflow about how you use the Annotation Lab. First, obviously, you create a project. If you want to download some models, feel free to do that, which can be used for annotation, for pre-annotation, and this can be included in the project setting. And then set up the project, configure the layout of the project, configure the type of the project, and then invite your team members. After that, it's time to import documents. We have for various import document structure, which I'll be talking in the latter part of this webinar. Then once imported, it's up to you if you want to start from scratch or if you want to take help from model server, which the process is called pre-annotation. If you want to do pre-annotation, just feel free to select tasks that you imported and hit the pre-annotate button present in the task list page. If not, or either ways, you have to go to the page and assign them to whoever you want to assign to your related team members. And in a while, review the work, analyze the work of the project. There's a good analytics dashboard. Happy with it, just you can export the data for whatever purpose you want in various preferred formats like CSV, JSON, QNNL, and a lot of things. Also, you can use the same good annotated documents for training your models within the tool without any lines of code. If you're not happy, you go back to your team. You can give reviews from within the tool, and then do the process same again. Most of the times while setting up big projects, it may be a bit difficult to import all the users. So we don't want our users to create the team, potentially 50, hundreds of people again and again if they already have it in their some SAML server or AD. So you using SSO, they can Annotation Lab without having to create those accounts again and again. And big companies are literally everywhere. It's not only about one or two projects. There tends to be like 10s, 20s, or 50s of projects going on, and it's difficult to manage all of them. So there is an easy way of grouping projects so that it's clear what project is where, and it's kind of structuring your list of projects. Also, there are numerous possible annotation layouts specific to a project. You can decide what kind of layout you want, or even on the project roles. Project roles are pretty clear. We have basically, let's say, 4 types of roles. One is annotator, who is responsible for doing annotation within a project, a reviewer who can review work from annotations, manager who manages overall project, like changing some config, changing some settings, assigning and removing people from particular tasks, and owner is somebody who creates a project. and even if it's a high compliance data, PSA data, it should be, as planned. You want to share with only people that you think is absolutely necessary to share with. Then, yeah, of course, importing thousands of documents is difficult. There are different ways to do that. Either do it through UI, you can zip all the documents into one, or you can always use APIs if there are different kinds of documents going here and there in different project or in different structure. So all the things that you can do through UI can be done through API as well. Again, everything is documented on the Swagger docs. Feel free to go and have a look and do some experiments. For large documents, it's difficult to scroll way to the bottom. Also, the pages get slower depending upon the browser performance, depending upon the load on the machine, on the laptop, on the machine desktop you're using. So we recommend using pagination for large documents. We have tested, we've seen that Annotation Lab supports thousands of tasks per project and thousands of labels per task. And multiple annotators can work in parallel without any interruption. So it's pretty that easy to start your big project. Let's go to the core of any project, the setup page. A setup page is the starting point for creating a project, where you can see 4 tabs like this: project description, project team, project configuration, training, and active learning. In the project description, it's pretty simple. Give a name, give the description of the project, and share some project instruction that you want to share with your annotating team, reviewing team, manager, whatever you want. The next is project team, where you can share your project with various team members. Then comes the project configuration, where you set up the kind of project, the layout of the project. So if you do not want to go deep dive into the structure of the project configuration, we already have shipped more than 40 plus, I believe 40 plus default templates for you. Just feel free to check out every one of them, see what kind of projects you can do with Annotation Lab. And the second tab within project configuration is pre-defined labels. It's list of all available models and the labels present in model, which can be used for pre-annotation. It's pretty simple. For instance, if you want to just use a classification project and you want to do pre-annotation using this model, classification, USC, ATIS, you just simply select this and add label and save config, and then the model will be deployed and you can use it for pre-annotation. And the third tab is the configuration. This is the detail, the most advanced view of your current project. So this is this can be viewed in 2 ways: code view and the visual view. This is code view. This is visual view. A code view is something that is made up with an XML. So there is almost no limitation about what you can achieve if you know well about XMLs, both HTML, CSS. If you just want to do it through simple clicks, then we also have this visual mode. You can select absolutely different between multiple types of projects and use this input field to define labels and classes. And then once done, click the save, and your project should be ready. Then at last, in the setup page, we have this training and active learning page tab. This is the place where you want to configure all your training parameters, like validation split ratio, epoch, learning rate, and so on. Also, you can filter out some of the tasks if you think something is not good enough. If you have some tasks that are ready, some are not, you can always filter using tags and other different filter parameters, filter options. You can configure the training pipeline as you want. You can always upload your custom training script using this button. This is the active learning red toggle button, which when toggled on, the process called active learning is set up. It gets turned on. And the main button here is the train now, which if you hit, it will start the training needed. And it will get all the documents, all the annotated tasks that you have in a present project, in this project. Let's talk about importing and assigning tasks. So Annotation Lab supports different kinds of formats. You can upload JSON file, you can upload CSV file, TSV file, TXT file, and also you can zip multiple different files into one zip file and import them at once. All these options, all these detailed things are available in the import ways. If you want to see what kind of JSON it supports or what kind of CSV it supports, you can just go in this page, click this, and we can see that a sample JSON file will be downloaded. So taking that as reference, you can create your own JSON file and import your existing data if you want. Now, once the data is imported, once the documents are imported at tasks, it's time to assign those tasks to different people within the team. Simply clicking selecting any task, you can choose which your team member is an annotator, which team member is a reviewer. Just decide and then assign them. There are a whole lot of other things like filtering and sorting feature present in the annotation in the task list page. There's this matrix that shows how many documents are incomplete, in progress, reviewed, and in submitted state. It is also possible to search things based on extraction or based on text across all the tasks present in current to this project. If some document is not shared with somebody, then they cannot see that, no matter if that person is a reviewer or annotator or even manager of another project. That person should be invited and explicitly share that document, that task. And all the work, all the things that annotators and reviewer do, we have a complete trail to see who has done what in the past. We do not allow any submitted tasks to be deleted. We have a track of who copies what completion or how the completion was created. Was it copied from another completion, or was it copied from a pre-annotation or a prediction from a model server? So everything is tracked. So let's now talk about the pre-annotation. Pre-annotation is simply the annotation that is done by the model server. For doing that, simply while creating the project, you go to the project configuration tab, and then within that you'll see the predefined labels tab. There you see all the list of models available in the current setup. If you need something else, go to models of page available in Annotation Lab, and then download from there. And then once downloaded, those list of models and labels are synced right here. And select them, add those labels or classes, and the models will be deployed. Once the setup is done, it's simply about selecting the task and hitting this pre-annotate button present in the task list page. So once that is done, you'll see a good, nice information about what is currently deployed in your Annotation Lab. What are the models deployed? What are the labels you should expect? For example, in this screenshot, it says that somebody deployed this model server some times ago from this project, and this is the embeddings it's using. And this is the model name and all the labels present in the model. Once you hit pre-annotate, in a few seconds, depending upon the length of your task, the pre-annotation should appear on the selected task, or if not selected, every single task present in the project. Which I have said here, excellent experience that annotation team can have. It's mostly about how much customizable the annotation tab is, annotation page is. So it has so many different layouts on the project label or per user pages. So for example, in this screenshot, I was trying to show you how easy is it to annotate a relation document or relation between two NER labels. So for this, click on one token, click on, and press shortcut R, and then click on other token, and the relation just gets created right there. If you click this menu, you'll see list of available relations, and then that's about only clicking those. So yeah, it's that simple. And if you see the layout of completion and result it can be either on the bottom or on the left, on the right of the labeling page. So it's also feasible, depending upon how you feel comfortable, how you think it's better, it's doable. Also, in case of long documents, it's easy to uh, uh, scroll or create pagination, and there are different shortcuts available. All the shortcuts are documented right here in this menu. It's possible to expand or make the screen a bit smaller depending upon the focus you want. You can hide your navigation drawer, that menu bar from the left, like this, and just get the complete view of the focused annotating area. Also, it is possible to compare between two or more completions. For example, in this screenshot, I have created. I was trying to compare what are the differences between person's annotation and annotation from model server. In this example, if you see closely, then a model server was trying to pre-annotate with some labels, but it was not able to annotate review label called revenue. So in this case, a user has come and copied this and created token, three more labels. So what this means is, in the next iteration, in the next training, the model will learn a better thing about, okay, these things are revenue. Also, we've already talked about pagination. For last document, we always recommend doing that. And if there is some repetitive occurrence of a token, it's also easily we can also easily annotate multiple tokens with a single annotation. So that's again already documented right here. Feel free to choose it. Also, the details about other experience is listed, is properly in-depth documented in this link. Okay, now let's talk about the analytics dashboard. Analytics dashboard is present within a project. So in this chart, we see that two annotators, Jane and John, these two people agree on 85% of the work they have done, 85% of the token they have annotated, while they disagree on 15% of them. And yeah, there are so many different charts available. I'll go through these quickly. So this is again a comparison between these two people's work, but per level. And this is another example of the same two people, but on the basis of chunk, each and every chunk. And on the bottom of this chart, it also provides a way to download the CSV file of the same chart. So the same thing, but between prediction and a person's work. This is like the chunk annotated by a single annotator and the context of that chunk, just to get an idea of what that person did. For example, attention deficit, that person annotated with medical condition, and this is the context. You can read, okay, if this is fine or not for the in-depth analysis. Similarly, this is about chunk extracted by medical condition label, chunks extracted by a person, and the frequency to see, okay, how many times this label and this chunk has been extracted by an annotator. Now let's talk about the active learning. Active learning is, I believe this diagram describes it a lot. It describes it a lot. For example, at certain point there are n-1 documents, and an annotator annotates a document, submits it, reviewer reviews it and thinks that, okay, this is good enough. He marks it as done. Then this document gets added to the chunk of the n-1 document to bring to make the count to n. Now, depending upon the setting, if n documents is enough, automatic training job is triggered. Once the training job is triggered, a model is created, the model is again deployed, and the same model can be used again for pre-annotating those documents. And this is kind of human in the loop workflow. For doing this, there is absolutely no need to do any programming, any coding. It's simply just it's about configuring a project correctly, annotators working in annotators and reviewer working in the right direction. That's all. Also, if you want, by any means, if you want to customize your training pipeline, it is also feasible to it. It has a upload feature in the settings in the trainings page, and you can upload your Python script right there. Let's go again about security and privacy in a bit more details. I was referring to in previous slide. I was talking about how somebody cannot see others' data unless it has been shared. So by that, what I meant is, for example, a person can be a manager of one project. A person can even be an owner of one project, or the person can even be admin, user admin. Even no matter what his role is, that person cannot see a project unless that project is assigned to them. So it's completely safe. The PHI document should be safe. It's about managing your project. You need to understand what roles you should keep to which person, and then that should be good enough. Of course, air-gapped environment. It's one of the most used environment by our users. All the product, all the images, everything, every work every development we've done, we have made sure that it works without an active internet connection. So once the installation is done, once the setup upgrade is done, just plug the internet cable out, and it should work seamlessly. About the release, we do frequent releases from 15 to 20 days, anywhere between. We try to ship security releases that have security fixes, a lot of improvements, known bug fixes. We are always listening to the security aspect and security related suggestions from our customers, where we try to integrate them as soon as possible and make sure that every release is as good as it should be. And as, of course, for all these things, it is suitable for high compliance environment. Okay, so let's go with demo. I'll be showing how to do pre-annotation and how to use the active learning feature. First, I'll go to model subpage, which is equivalent to to the nlp.johnsonlabs.com/model space. So here we list all the available models from JSL. The same is uh, here. So in this one, I'll look for a movie model, something called NER-MIT movie, trained on BERT-based embeddings. It's already downloaded, but downloading it's pretty simple. Click it, hit the download button. Once the download is done, your model will be available here in the second tab. The second tab is is about listing all the models available in the current annotation lab setup, while the first one was it was listing all the models available remotely, ready to be available to be downloaded. And the third is list of the third tab is to show a list of embeddings already downloaded in this machine. So once the model is available, I'll go to home page. I'll create a project, movie annotation tool project. So I don't need to share it with the team at the moment. I want to go to project configuration page. I want to do an NER project. So I'll choose one of the predefined templates. And then I'll go to predefined labels. I will search for movie. It has that model has 12 labels. I'll add those labels. I'll go to configuration. I'll remove any labels that are not part of that model. So only actor, award, character name. These are my labels for the project. I'll also want to add a new label, revenue, which is not part of the model, but I want to train my new model based on that. Once that is done, I'll hit the save config button and it will ask me to deploy the model. So I'll hit S. Once that is done, I'll go to import page. I'll import a document, that I created for the demo. So this is how the document looks like. So it's about a movie, and it contains different entities that we're interested in. So yeah, pre-annotating this document is pretty simple. Hit the pre-annotate button. It shows us all the details, when it was deployed by whom, through which project, what is the model's name, what is the model name, and labels available. So I'll hit the pre-annotate, and in a few seconds, I should be able to see the pre-annotation work from the model solver. Right now, only one job is running, obviously, because we only have one task, and now it is finished. If you go inside, you can see that prediction is here, right? So prediction comes, it has nine things annotated. I can copy it, and once copied, I can see that, okay, this is good. I want to annotate something else also, the revenue. I don't want to go back again, going back top and bottom of the page. So I can use the hotkey E, right? So I can press E and then annotate again. I'll press E and annotate again. So this is that simple. Save it, submit it. So this is my work. This is not an actual work. This is just a draft. I'll delete it. So I have one work from myself and one from the model. So I can compare them. Okay, so I can compare them. I can see, okay, my work has few more annotations than the model solver. So this is how the pre-annotation can be done. Now let's move on to active learning. So for active learning purpose, I've prepared a data set. I'll call demo active learning. I don't want to change anything. I don't want to share it with the team. I just want to go to project configuration page. I want to go to visual mode. I don't want to do any of these. I'll remove all of these, and I'll add medicine. I'll add another medical condition, also pathogen. These are the three labels I'll be using for this project. So once done, I'll hit the save button. I'll go to training and active learning. I'll enable active learning feature. So active learning, once I do that, the training will get triggered on every 50 completions. I can change the behavior by changing this drop down. So for now, I'll keep it simple. Only 50 completions should be okay. So what this means is if I have enough documents, enough it goes to 50 in this case. If I have 50 documents, and active learning will trigger. If I have 100, and the next 50 document, which is in total 100, another training will trigger. 150, another 200, another. So it keeps going, and the improved model keeps getting trained automatically. So here are all other things available, which embeddings to use, what to do. I'll be training open source project. I'll be using blob. I will reduce the epoch just to make it short during the demo. I can filter tasks. I can only say that, okay, I want to only use submitted completions for training or only reviewed completions for training. I can also filter tasks, not just the completions. So I can select any of these if I want, but I'll do simply keep it as it is. I can also specify training and test dataset by using this. Now I think it's okay. I'll save my config. It's time to import some document. I'll import a document which I have already annotated. I'm just importing it at the moment. So 50 documents are imported. We can go back to the analytics dashboard, so you can visualize what kind of documents are there. So it says 98% are submitted, one is incomplete. So like we have 49 tasks already done, one is to be annotated. So this is to be annotated. I believe this is wrong title. Maybe I messed up. I can also always has annotation. So change our title. Okay, so yeah, so I have 49 annotated documents, and I have one document that is not annotated. I go here, and then I can annotate byte as medical condition, right? So every byte in this document is annotated automatically with one annotation. This behavior can be configured using this. I'll save it. So in the settings, I've configured that only submitted tasks are used for training. So now I believe we have 50 completions. Yeah, all of them are 50 completions. All of them are submitted and starred. So if I go to setup, our training should already be triggered. Yeah, this is going on. So the training is going on. We can click here and we can look at all the training logs right here. This logs gets refreshed itself. We can see the epoch-wise test and validation right here. So while the training goes on, we can talk more about other features like what this is. This is about if you want to control which task needs to be part of test dataset, which task needs to be part of trained dataset, right? So what I mean by this is I can go here, I can select these 7 documents and assign them as test documents. So if I do this, and if I select this, those tasks will be used as the test data sets, and you can also define train data set. Now the training seems to be completed. We have all the training data right here. You can click it, you can see it, right? And hopefully that model is also here. Uh, Maybe we called it cool, the project name. No, what's the project name? Project name was demo. Okay, demo. AL. So uh, this is the model you trained. So we can rename it NR underscore my cool model. Right? The content of this webinar covers very few aspects and features of Annotation Lab. To get started and understand all the available features, I request you to visit these links. We are always hearing your comments, feedback, and feature requests on Slack channel. Please feel free to join the Spark NLP workspace if you haven't. Thank you all for attending this webinar. Bye.